Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to Real Estate Investing. In today's episode, you'll learn about the top 10 must-haves for profitable rental property. My name is Andrew Finney. Please consider me your real estate geek. I am always here to help. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, or if you simply want to drop me a line and say hi, my contact info is below. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. So let's talk about the top 10 features of a profitable rental property. That's not saying that you won't find a profitable rental property if it doesn't have these 10 features, but if you want to get the most money out of your rental, and we both know you do, right? Then these are the 10 things that you're going to want to take a look at, okay? So let's start talking about the profit that you can get from a rental property, and leading in with those 10 things that for the right rental property you should be looking for. Ideally, number one, you're going to have yourself a trusted real estate advisor. If you're looking on your own right now before you have a trusted real estate advisor, that's okay. But whenever you get ready to pull the trigger and you decide that you're ready to buy your rental property or add to your rental portfolio, make sure that you can start considering the following 10 things. Number one, consider the quality of the neighborhood. The neighborhood, just like in everything else in real estate, is location, location, location. The quality of the neighborhood that you buy a property in will actually influence both the types of tenants you attract and your vacancy rate. So the better the neighborhood, or the better the neighborhood in the mind's eye of the tenant, the less likely you're going to have a vacancy issue. And again, on the flip side of that, if they don't like it as much, guess what? You're going to have a vacancy rate. With every time you have that vacancy rate, guess what's happening to your profit? It's down, it's in the trash, it's not where you want it to be. So get it up by first exploring the neighborhood before you buy the rental property. And it can actually be a really, really good idea to drive through the community and make sure that that's what you want before you pull the trigger on that property as well. Another key consideration is sometimes you hear people saying, hey, it's a great idea to have a rental property close to a university. Yes, no, and maybe so. Here's the reason why. If your rental is close to a university, will it be rented out for a certain period of time of the year? More than likely. And you're going to have students that need a place to live, right? But what happens when they go on spring break? What happens when they go on summer break? Then they might decide that they only wanted it for a short term, or you might have an issue with not collecting rent on time because maybe they forgot to pay, or they went somewhere else, or they're not coming back. So consider that whenever you're deciding whether you want to rent to university students or whom you want your audience to be for your rentals, and factor that ahead of time for your vacancy rate. Perhaps the benefit would be there if you live in a town that a lot of people like to visit. If you're going to have a vacancy rate issue, perhaps you could put your home up for a short-term rental for a spring break or a short-term time in the summer. Just be ready for the cost of getting the property fixed back up for another renter if they do any destruction to it. The second thing that you want to be looking at are property taxes. Property taxes aren't exactly uniform across an area, and an investor planning to make money from renting. Well, guess what? You need to be aware of how much money you're going to be losing to property taxes every single month, every single year. High property taxes aren't always a bad thing, especially if the neighborhood is in an excellent place. But keep this in mind that the two don't normally go hand in hand. With higher property taxes equals highly desirable area. They don't always go hand in hand. But if they do, in your case, where you're looking at, then you're more likely going to be able to attract long-term tenants and have a low vacancy rate. So what you want to do is you'll want to talk to homeowners in the community, and you want to go onto the municipality's website and go to specifically their assessment office to look at the tax information for that property. If you have yourself a trusted real estate agent, guess what can happen? They can pull that information for you. Boom, done, easy. The third thing that you want to consider are the schools, and specifically if you're dealing with family-sized or extended family-sized accommodations, you might want to be considering the quality of the local educational facilities in and around your rental. Because what's going to happen if you have, let's say, a 3 or 4 or 5 bedroom rental property, who are you going to be attracting realistically? More than likely you're attracting that growing family and they might want to be in a specific zip code, and maybe the right home out there, or they're not able to buy a home on their own, or maybe the right home is unaffordable for them right now for where they want to be, but your rental is just the right price for them to live in, and it just so happens to be in the right school district for their kids to be able to get the education that they want. So what you can do is you go on the psk.com, psk12.com or greatschools.org. You start checking out the school ratings in and around the rental property that you want to purchase. The higher the school rating, the more likely you are to find a long-term tenant in the form of parents and their kids that are going to be in that school district for the whole time they're in school, because once parents get themselves kids into the school districts that they want, from my experience of selling people's property before they go out and buy a new one, or some of the reasons why people sell a property to go buy a new one have to do with school districts and the length of time their kids are planning on going to that school district area. So something to think about. Number 4, the fourth thing that you must have is no one really wants to be close to a crime area. It has everything to do with crime. So what do you do, and how do you know if your rental's in a hot spot for crime? It's a few different things. If you're a local, you could take a drive through it. Maybe you already know what the rap is, or maybe you don't know what the rap is, so you drive through it, you check it out for yourself, and you check it out at different times of day and see if it's going to be within your comfort to purchase in that area. The best place to go for anything to do with crime statistics or anything like that is actually going to the police department or a public library to get accurate crime statistics for the various neighborhoods of the city that you're living in. And there's also websites that are available, like here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm sure that it might work in your area too. Give it a go and let me know if it does or not. It's a site called crimemapping.com. If you go to crimemapping.com, ours here in Las Vegas, Nevada is actually tied in with the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. It updates every single week, and I normally call it like a Skittle map to the families that I work with, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a whole bunch of little Skittles on the screen, and each one of those Skittles equals some type of a crime. You can investigate that closer for your rental property. Again, check it out and see if it works where you live. It's called crimemapping.com. If it does, great. Throw it down in the comment section below. If you know of another one, throw it down in the comment section below along with the city and state you live in, so we can help our community learn and grow and combine all these wonderful links to help each other out. Okay, so the 5th thing that you want to be looking at is the job market, the local job market of that city. If there's going to be growing employment opportunities, then you know you're going to get probably 2 things going on right there. Number 1, you're going to be having a lot of people flocking to that city, and if there's obviously if there's less homes available, then there are people coming in. That's about to drive your rate of appreciation up. You're about to get a huge return in the home appreciation side of it, but you're also going to get good rent, and you're going to be having people there for probably normally at least 1 to 2 years while they figure themselves out, they get their employment situation taken care of, and they are able to start learning the new city and learning where they want to live themselves. That can be a really, really good thing. So if you hear of a major announcement or a notice that a company is moving into the area that you want to buy in, or excuse me, that you want to purchase your rental in, that could be a good thing if you get there before and ahead of time, so that you're not the one getting stuck with the already home appreciation from another speculative or savvy real estate investor that's going to sell it to you because they've already rented it out and they want to cash in on their home appreciation. The 6th must-have that you want to consider are the amenities in and around the neighborhood. So if you have the rental property here, what's going on with the potential neighborhood, and what are the projected projects? You know, are there new parks going in? Are there new malls going in? Gyms, movie theaters, public transport hubs, and all these other perks that typically attract renters. Not every renter has a vehicle, so being close to major transit or being somewhere around where they can have a little hub spot, so to speak, for transit is very important to them. Another thing, like having malls, gyms, and everything within a walkable distance, maybe 1 mile out, maybe 2 miles at the most, that can also appeal to people because it's a really quick thing for them to get over there. They can walk it on a nice day, whatever that means to them, but they could walk it and go from there. The 7th must-have that you want to take a look at is actually building permits and future development. What is the municipality planning, the municipal planning department? What are they planning, and what information is available on any and all new developments that are coming or have been zoned in and around the area of your new rental? Knowing about that, you know, are they planning new apartment buildings, business parks, malls? Then it's probably a good growth area. It's a good sign if you have those 3 things. Again, the 3 things are apartment buildings, business parks, or malls going up, that you're probably in a good growth area. At the same time, please watch out for new developments that could hurt the price of the surrounding areas. Like, for example, a loss of an active friendly green space. You know, you take a park out or something and you add a new housing complex in, that could actually hurt your property value because you lost one of the things that attracted people to that location, going back to point 1, location. The 8th thing you want to talk about and think about is the number of listings and vacancies. If there's an unusually high number of listings for one particular neighborhood that are rentals or listings that are actually being resold, it can be either a sign of a seasonal cycle, or it can be a sign that the neighborhood just has gone bad in people's opinion. Only a prospective buyer and seller could say whether something's good or bad at the end of the day anyways. But in the case of you owning that rental property, your tenant has to feel it's good as well for them to want to be renting that property. And if you ideally want long-term tenants, so you lower your vacancy rate, and you do, right? Then you want to make sure that you're not in a gone bad area. So keep an eye on those things for fluctuations, and realize whether they're seasonal or whether they're other issues, underlying factors that should let you know, excuse me, I'll let you know and give you an idea what your possible vacancy rates could look like over a 12-month cycle. Number 9, the must-have feature is the rents. Know what your rental income will be, because your rental income is the bread and butter of your rental property. I mean, it kind of goes without saying, but know what the average rent in the area is, know what's going on over there. Talk to other homeowners, see what people are paying for on their houses. Talk about property taxes if they're expecting an increase or what the situation may be. And the easiest way to know what the rental rates are is actually contact your trusted real estate advisor. It all circles back to having a trusted real estate advisor. Just because you're a real estate investor doesn't mean that you should be taking all this on your own. Find that real estate agent that's really happy and experienced with working with investors to help you get the best deal possible, number 1, and number 2, be realistic with you and give you the straight scoop on the market conditions and what kind of offers are going to get accepted and which kind aren't. But when it comes into them planning on renting out the property, they can also assist you with putting you in touch with the property manager if you're not going to manage the property yourself, and they'll let you know more about rental comps so that if you even want to make an offer on the property to begin with, you can go ahead and run your numbers with your cap rate and all, go ahead and make sure that the numbers make sense before you even make an offer. That's the benefit of a trusted real estate advisor, just a few of them for you as an investor. So the 10th thing you want to look at are natural disasters. Now, we can't control those things, obviously, but the reason they become important is you need to know whether you need earthquake insurance, flood insurance, what kind of insurance that you're going to need to factor and add on to your total monthly mortgage with your principal, your interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, whether it has an HOA, and then additional types of natural disaster insurances, because all of that's going to cut into your bottom line when you start factoring and looking at your numbers. Combine that with your vacancy rate and start getting an idea of whether that's going to be the right property for you to purchase or not. In general, the best kind of investment property for a beginner just starting out is going to be a single family house or a condominium. Now, depending on your area, it might make more sense to go condominium. Depending on your area, it might make more sense to go single family. Condominiums are going to have HOA fees. Obviously, they're like a multiplex. They're essentially an apartment complex, but now being sold to people to be able to purchase and own them. But it has the look and the feel and the sensation of apartment complexes generally. So that being said, maybe really nice ones, but still, at the end of the day, that's what it is. But they're going to have different kinds of fees involved with them for the external repairs of the overall structure and stuff, and those HOA fees can be quite high. I know here in Las Vegas, Nevada, a condominium fee can be very, very steep, and you're going to get a lower rate of return in most cases for your rental because people aren't going to pay as much for it, especially if there's single-family home options available as well. However, for the purpose of getting started, do what makes sense. Run your numbers. Be honest with yourself. Be realistic with yourself. Work with a great trusted real estate advisor that's going to help you plan out your success into your having profitable rental properties. So single family homes, just for reference, do tend to attract longer term renters because you'll get families or couples that are generally the tenants in the properties, and they can be better tenants because they actually begin taking home ownership pride of the property even though they don't own it. And when you get someone that takes ownership and they're a tenant, hey, God love you, because it's going to really help you out as far as not having your property get destroyed. So when you do have the idea of what you want, or if you have a neighborhood or an area narrowed down to what you want for your rental properties, make sure that you're taking a look and talking to that trusted real estate advisor about what does the property appreciation look like, what does the zip code appreciation look like. Start factoring a good projected cash flow. They're all going to be guesstimates until you're in the process. We can always write things down on paper and plan out for the best, but also if you plan for the worst and hope for the best, then sometimes that's extremely wise, especially in business and real estate investing with rental properties, is plan off of what it's going to be on the worst case scenario so you're prepared. Then look at what the best case scenario could be, and then knowing somewhere in the middle is likely going to be the reality of the situation. Now, if you have any questions about this video, I'm going to put my contact information up on the screen right now. Whether you want to drop me a line and say hi, or you need help finding a top agent in your area, please let me know. I'm always happy to hear from you. Now it's your turn. This is where it gets fun. Let's turn the tables back around and you tell me which of these top 10 must-have features of a profitable rental property are you going to use right now? Tell me what stood out in your mind, and tell me if you have any other tips that we should be adding, maybe top 11, top 12 must-have features for a profitable rental property. Tell me about it in the comments section below. Tell me what state you're in and let us know what city you're in so we can help our community learn and grow together. Now, if you haven't already done so, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. Number 1, please subscribe to this channel. Number 2, please like this video. Number 3, please share this video around with someone you know is going to be able to help. In between now and next time, I'm wishing you and yours a lifetime full of love, wealth, abundance, and happiness. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon.